What up, boys? I want to talk to you about the importance of committing to always learning. And I don't just mean like intellectually, I also mean emotionally. But basically what I see is people fall off, you know what I mean? And like they'll get good results and then their results will basically like drop off. And part of it is like having the value in your system of continuing to learn. And I know it can sound tiring. It's like, dude, I've already done all this shit. Now I've got to like continue to learn. But it's important to basically be committed to continuing to learn. And I'm not saying like learn in a sense of like burning yourself out repeatedly. Like that sucks, man. I'm not saying to like continuously pour out your cup and be at the very edge of your system and constantly getting obliterated. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is like it's important to basically be committed to continuing to learn and, you know, learning intellectually and learning emotionally. And the reason I say that is if you are committed to basically continuing to learn, you won't fall off. You know what I mean? Like you won't go through these periods of like big dips and like big losses because you're committed to continuing to learn. Like you're committed to like, hey, I know that in this life I have to continue to learn and continue to learn emotionally and intellectually and continue to expand. And that if I'm not doing that, then my life is going to start to go on a decline. And learning is going to look different at different ages, right? Like you can't expect at like 70 or 80 that you're going to be learning at the same pace. And it could be emotional learnings, it could be, you know, spirituality learnings, but it's important that you stay committed to learning and like continuing to learn and not really allowing yourself to drop off. So I've just seen it in my own life, these periods where I've gotten very comfortable and very complacent, and I basically have convinced myself that I no longer need to learn. And I think you can take a guess at what those results have been, right? During those periods where you're very comfortable, things are on like kind of autopilot, everything's hunky-dory, and like you're just doing your thing, right? So it's important to commit to continuing to learn emotionally and intellectually, okay? Otherwise, you're gonna fall off and it's gonna be pretty painful, and like the gains that you've made or like what you've gotten in life will start to drop off. Okay, now there's another important point about this thing to continue to learn. I am not advocating that you don't arrive. I'm not advocating that like it's just continuous like up and to the right growth and striving without any sort of like arriving or like allowing for comfort or allowing for you to like actually get where you say you're gonna get, right? So this is the other part of being committed to learning. It isn't just the fact that you're committed to learning and growing, because that's good, but I see the error rate on the other side where the person basically is always striving and never arriving. They're like pushing themselves and pushing themselves and pushing themselves and pushing themselves. And then they hit a point of like burnout. They hit a point of like, okay, they're always in a stretch. They're like always in some uncomfortable type of a push, and they don't really give their systems like a chance to actually arrive, okay? So when I talk about being committed to learning, when I talk about saying, hey, it's important that you make it a value, that you continue to learn, that you continue to grow intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, physically, if you're, you know, pushing yourself physically, whatever. It's important to continue to make that a value, that you continue to grow. At the same time though, it's important that you also arrive. And this is kind of like the dichotomy between the two, okay? This is what makes it tough, which is our culture is basically up and to the right. That's like American culture. It's like dopamine, up and to the right, strive, 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 okay? And the error rate for the people that are like, well, I'm always learning, I'm always expanding, and you see it, is they never get there. They never arrive. They never take in the view. Like, they get to the top of the mountain and then they pick the next mountain. Like, they don't actually arrive and they don't actually let it land. Okay. So the paradox here is, at the same time that you're striving, you are allowing yourself to arrive the entire time. And you're not putting it behind some curtain, behind some like false thing where it's like, okay, when I get to here, then I'll allow it to land, okay? That will burn you out, because basically what's happening is you're committed to always learning and committed to always growing, but then you're never giving yourself a chance to actually let it land, which will just lead to burnout. It will literally just burn you out, okay? So this is a harder one. This is what I would say is the difficult part for most people to learn, which is actually letting it arrive, like letting it land now, not at the end of some sort of like false rainbow or some like pot of gold at the end of it that you're like focused on, that you think like, okay, when I get this, then all of a sudden like I'll have arrived, okay? The secret here is that it's not true. That's like actually not how it works. You're always arriving, okay? And it is so important to be able to do this, because if you don't do this, then you'll basically burn your system out and you'll do the error thing where like you stop growing and you stop learning, okay? So what this looks like is an acknowledgement of the fact that like, hey, I need to let this land the entire time, okay? There's practicing appreciation and gratitude and satisfaction, and then there's practicing dissatisfaction, okay? And so most people that are committed to like learning and growing are practicing dissatisfaction the entire time. No, not yet, 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 right? That's what they're practicing the entire time. And then they get the thing, and then they think all of a sudden they're gonna be deep in satisfaction and appreciation, which we know isn't true. Like, we know it, because you get the thing, 2 seconds of satisfaction, and it's over, because the entire time you've been going for it and learning and growing, you've been practicing dissatisfaction. And that's like a habitual thing and a habitual loop, okay? This is my point, which is, as you're always like striving and growing and learning, and you're like committed to learning, because if you don't commit to like actually like learning emotionally, physically, spiritually, whatever, then eventually you're gonna fall off, and it's very, very painful. But if you paradoxically don't actually feel good the entire time and enjoy, then you will burn yourself out and you will stop trying to learn and grow, because in your system, in your head, learning and growing is equated to dissatisfaction and having not enough, okay? Which I am not advocating for. So the paradox here in being committed to learning and growing is enjoying the whole thing, motherfucker. Like, celebrating the entire thing. Enjoying the whole thing and not just putting it on the other side, okay? And so that means like, hey, having gratitude, like, damn, dude, like, I'm proud of me for doing this. I'm proud of me for doing this. Like, literally, I know this sounds stupid, but treating yourself like you're a fucking 5-year-old, where like they congratulate you for going to the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, yay, you went to the bathroom. That level on the entire thing, like the fact that I got up, the fact that I showed up, the fact that I did this, like, I'm proud of me for doing this. I'm proud of me for doing this. And like allowing it to land the whole entire time. In addition to saying, hey man, I'm super grateful. Like, I'm alive, I'm healthy, my brain works, like I'm on this path, I've got like access to all these different things that are helping me on my journey. Like, that's awesome, right? So It's so important that while you're committed to growing and learning, and while you're committed to like, okay, I'm going to continue to expand, at the same time, letting it land, like letting that appreciation land for you, like allowing the whole thing to feel good. I've got these guy friends that continue to push themselves, but they're never arriving. It's like literally strive, 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 not enough, not enough, not enough, not enough, dissatisfaction, dissatisfaction, dissatisfaction. And then they're surprised that they're burned out. They're surprised that it's like, yo, this doesn't feel that good. And then they're surprised that they fall off, that they're like no longer committed to like growing and learning. It's like, well, yeah, no shit, dude. Like, no, like, of course you're not committed to continuing to grow and learn, because your system has learned that there's never arriving. There's never comfort there. It's always over the next hill. It's always over the next horizon. And like your system gets habituated to that, and then you fall off on the commitment to learning and growing, and then your results in your life like falls off and it feels like shit, okay? So this is what I mean, where the actual work is letting it land, like finding a way that as you're doing it, you celebrate every single thing. You feel good the entire time. You let yourself always strive and always arrive at the exact same time. Like you allow for being proud of yourself for every single action that you're taking, for every single thing that you're doing. Like you allow for it to feel good, for it to land for you to basically feel good the entire time, and not do this like weird thing that we basically all do, which is kind of like shit on ourselves and not really like allow ourselves to like have deep appreciation and have deep gratitude. And like you see it, man, you see these guys and like it looks miserable. The whole process looks miserable. Making money, it just looks like it's like a fucking miserable endeavor. Meeting women or a partner, it looks like a miserable endeavor for these guys. Like they're in this loop, and I've been there too. I'm not trying to pretend that like your boy didn't go through it. But it's so unbelievably important to have the skill set of always arriving, to like look at it. So even look at like what you're planning on doing today or this week or what you're working on, and asking yourself, I'm striving, cool. Am I also always arriving? Am I doing both? Am I allowing for deep joy, deep appreciation, even when I'm in the thick of it? And like, hey, there are going to be times where it's so bad that is not on offer. And I'm not pretending that like you need to be some perfect being, because that's yet another thing that you use to not arrive. There's another gap there. I'm not advocating that you need to be perfect with this, because there are going to be times in life that are like really, really hard, okay? And so I'm not saying that like, okay, well, you should also always, you know, be arriving and you're never going to fall off. It's like, dude, come on, like that's not realistic. But endeavoring while you're striving to also be arriving, to also have it feel good, to also be in appreciation. Like that is one of the things that will allow you to like stay committed to having a beautiful life, man. And like really enjoying it, dude. You know, one of the things I learned, I love my dad so much. Man, he taught me so much. Like, so unbelievably lucky to have had him as a dad. And when he was getting to the end of his life, he was looking back and he was like, man, and this is probably why this is such an important lesson for me. He was like, I wish I'd appreciated it more. like I already had such a beautiful life. I had a wife that like loves me and 2 amazing kids and like all of this like work that I enjoy doing, and that is just such a deep lesson. Another beautiful gift from him, which was like him looking back and realizing how much time he spent worrying and how much time he spent looping, and that it was all already so fucking good, that he had it all, that it was all already like a rich, beautiful experience. And we all know this. Like, we all know it. Like, if I took you and it's like your last breath and you're looking back, literally your thought is gonna be, man, I wish I just fucking enjoyed it more. I wish I just fucking enjoyed it more. That's gonna be the main feeling that comes up. And I'm not advocating for like always being in like a life death retrospective, but like that's the truth, which is appreciating it, allowing yourself to arrive, to like appreciate the whole thing. And that way you can be committed to like growing and learning and like enjoying the motherfucker, dude. And there are a lot of tools and techniques to help create that, okay? I'm gonna put my email below. Like, if you wanna chat, just like hit me up, okay? But there are a lot of ways to like get it wired into your system that you appreciate, that you let it land, that you basically are able to like take a pause and like allow for it to be good now and not like in the future, you know? And then the other flip side of the coin is like people are like, okay, well then I do that and then I'm not motivated to do anything. And that's another trick of the mind. I could make another video on it, but it's like leaning into your edge, feeling alive, feeling like deeply like wide open and appreciating the gift of being alive. And you know, I acknowledge that there's going to be a good amount of pain, and your boy's been through a tremendous amount of pain, so I get it. So I'm not saying it's like, you know, when you do squats there's a difference between like 100 pounds on the bar and 1,000 pounds on the bar, and sometimes there's 1,000 pounds on the bar and you're not going to be able to appreciate it, of course, okay? But what I am saying is there is a skill set of appreciation. There's a skill set of satisfaction. There's a skill set of gratitude. And I'm not talking about just like writing down in a gratitude journal. I'm talking about like being able to really let it land on the whole journey. And everyone's different. What works for one guy won't necessarily work for another guy. So there's like an element of like playing your own instrument here and being able to like really play it and really let it land so that you're filling your cup the entire time, so that it's like feeling good for you and you're in appreciation and you're in arriving, okay? So there's more to share on this topic. I'll shoot a couple more videos on it. This is the sauce though, dude. Like, don't sleep on it. Like, this is absolutely the sauce. This is like the thing that actually really helps guys get great results. Like, this isn't some bullshit where it's like your results get better by doing this. The guys that do this get better results. More happiness, more money, more great sex, more feeling good, more locked in, more wide open. Like, the people that do this, the guys that do this, get the best results. So I don't want this to be some like, you know, woo-woo, like ho-hum, like syrupy thing. It's like, yo, shut the fuck up. And part of the way you know this is like, you know, if you ever meet me in person, or we go out together, or we do something together, you'll be like, you'll feel it coming off, where you're like, damn, dude, like, that's fucking legit, dude. Like, that guy's results are so good because he's not trapped in the bullshit that every other fucking guy is. And not to say that I don't fall off. Like, your boy falls off, dude. We all do, okay? All right, that's it for today. Todd, out. Love you guys. I will be back. Email below. If you want to chat, drop me a little message. All right, peace.